This video is going to be a how-to video of how to remove a radiator and completely cap it off permanently. This is aimed at DIYers, not you qualified plumbers, as a lot of my videos are. If you're just wanting to take the radiator off for decorating, you could also use what I do in the start of this video to help you remove the radiator, ready for refitting afterwards. So this is the radiator in question. The reason why we're permanently capping this is because they're going to put electric in here. There are solar panels, and the current system is air source heat pump. And currently, well, it doesn't get very hot, should we say. So because they've got electric solar panels, they're going to have electric heating here for when they convert this property into an Airbnb. Now, pipework obviously drops under the floor, which I'm hoping we should be able to see somewhere. It's a bit dusty. Oh, right there underneath, you can just make it out there. That is the feed for this radiator valve, and the other one is popping up, and they're both going that way. I wonder if we do have somewhere another floorboard up, possibly that one, so it's easier to get onto, because there's not a lot of room under there. This one looks like it's been up as well. A little bit of luck on this job. Flip that up. Right, I've located the pipes, and it is these two T's here which need cutting and capping off after we've drained down the system. First, we'll get rid of the existing radiator. Firstly, what you want to do is shut off both radiator valves. Clockwise, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Don't want to go too tight because you can snap them ones. Same with the thermostat. Make sure that it is all the way off. Now for this radiator, because it's got a drain off, technically, I'll show you how I would use that. You could open that. Now if the pressure stops, which it has, it means the valves are working and they've isolated. However, let's say we don't have one of them. What you would do instead is open up the air vent, and same again, if the pressure stops, it means the valves are both isolated. If you do have one of these, so most of the time on downstairs radiators, you can open it up, but that's not going to get rid of the water just yet. You're going to have to let air into the radiator so it releases the water. And that is now currently emptying the radiator. However, you may not have one of them. But let's say you don't. We'll close that back off. Basically what you'd have to do is this. This is a plumb tub, but you don't need one of these, you just need a container that's going to fit underneath the radiator. And this is a rad spanner. Again, you don't need one of these, you can just get a pair of grips, but you want to be supporting that valve, so when you turn this union on the radiator, it doesn't kink the pipe or move it and cause an unnecessary leak. So you'd undo that, from the radiator, and it will start draining from there. That's if you didn't have a drain off valve like this. And now we're just going to wait for the water to stop. That has now finished emptying, and just for information purposes, that's how much water came out of this 600 by 600 double panel radiator. Same again, we need to remove this union, which is the tail to the radiator. That one is still live, so there's still water up to this point. You do not want to be touching that bottom nut. Not yet anyway. There may be some dregs on this side as well, so I normally get a towel underneath just to catch that. At this point you want to be closing back off your air vent, because what I normally do is flip the radiator upside down just in case there is any dregs of water in there. You're not going to damage any carpets or whatever if you're carrying your radiator out the property. So both sides are disconnected. I'm just going to lift the radiator up and off. And spin it upside down, ready for taking out the room or wherever you want. So this one's been scrapped, but you might be putting it back on after decorating. If you are going to be reusing this radiator, I'll show you what you need to do to safely leave the pipework as is, because there's a thermostatic radiator valve on this system that can actually open itself if it drops below a certain temperature inside the room, and you don't want that. So to safely cap these off, you need, this is called a 1/2 inch blanking plug, female. And that will tighten onto most thermostatic radiator valves. The other size union we've got is a 3/4, which this is a 3/4. And again, tighten them up. They do want nipping up with a spanner, and that will be safe. Ready now for decorating, plastering, whatever you want to do for refitting. And all you're going to do for refitting is do it in reverse order. Hang the radiator back on, tighten up the unions back on, open up the valves, fill the system, bleed the radiator, fill the system again, check for leaks, and that will be it, job done. Just reverse order. However, we need to get rid of this pipework, so we're not going to be capping off the valves. We're going to be capping off the pipework under the floor. Now, before doing this, you need to make sure you know how to fill up the system. Most systems nowadays are pressurized. Some of them have tanks in the attic and are gravity fed. This video is not intended for if you have tanks in the attic and it's gravity fed. I will do a second video on how to work on them type of systems, but for now we're going to go with the most common, which is a pressurized system. Your system's probably not going to look something like this, but this is air source. However, same principle. The system is up to pressure. At the minute it is 1 bar, just over, and that's where we want to be topping it back up to after we've drained it and filling it back up. You need to make sure the system's turned off and nothing's in demand, and make sure you know how to fill it up. You may have a braided hose like this, you may have an integral filling loop at the bottom of your boiler, but this one has got an external one, a braided hose. Now I've identified how we're going to fill it back up, we need to take the pressure out of the system. Now the easiest way I find of doing it, sometimes you have drain offs on the system that you can do it with, but I don't want to empty the whole system on this one, just the pipe that we're working on and where you're upstairs, the boiler's downstairs. So I'm just going to open this valve into a bucket and wait for it to stop running basically. Painful. Now there's a few ways we can cap off the pipe work. You can use compression, which you need a couple of spanners for, and there's no lip in there, which can tighten onto the pipe and isolate it. There is push fit, which is a plastic fitting. You just push onto the pipe and make sure it's fully locked on by trying to take it back off again. You could solder a cap on. This is an end feed cap. Or you can do what I'm going to do, and that is press. If you're a DIYer, I'm pretty sure you don't have a press gun because they are over £1,000. But it's basically the same as a push fit, however it's crimped onto the pipe. And that's what I'm going to be using, whilst waiting for that water to stop. So those two are the pipes going to be cutting off. They're the ones to the bathroom radiator. I'm just going to be using a pipe slice to cut them off, and I'll show you what they're like when we're done, because I'm not going to be able to get the camera in between these joists. And you can cut these off now and get rid of them, because I have capped the supplies off. Well, that one didn't drop down as fast as I wanted it to. Right, in here, there's a little bit of water. A little bit. I had a towel at the ready. Those two are both capped off. Now I can pull the remaining pipework out. Like so. So I've made sure they're all nice and dry. We just need to go now and repressurize the system. After repressurizing the system, you may need to bleed other radiators in your property, because sometimes they will start to empty after you're cutting the pipework. As you can see, we're looking at the black needle, not the red. It dropped to 0. This is how we fill it up. That should start to fill, which it is. It's already lifting off. I'm going to go and check my caps upstairs whilst it's only open. A little bit of a turn. Would not recommend doing this. I'd recommend turning it off, then going checking the caps, but I've done this for 20 years. So far so good. Let's go and keep an eye on that gauge now. 1 bar, that'll do me. We shut that back off and then uncheck the connections we've put on and bleed any of the radiators in the property. They're all looking good. That's full of water. If it hisses and it's not water, it's got air in and needs to be emptied out. Well, as in filled up. Both of them are full, so that'll be alright. We don't need to touch the pressure gauge back on the boiler again. Now all I'm going to do is put the boards back down, turn the heating on, make sure everything's all working, and tidy up. All that's left for me to do now is remove the old brackets. And that is it. We're all back up and running on this house. Another job completed for me. Hopefully this video has helped you out, especially if you're a DIYer and have took my advice. If it has, please give it a like. Consider subscribing if you haven't done already. Do post all sorts of plumbing content with tips and tricks in there and how to do certain things. So if it's your kind of thing, give the subscribe button a hit as well. And I'll see you all on the next one. Thanks for watching.